So then he used to say that, are you doing something special? Everyone is doing. Take an ant, observe the ant. Ant, going. Ant knows which one is food and which one is not. What a great deal if we are running. We have. So, one of our great masters, including my master, used to say, we do not think. We follow blindly. So when we do not think, we follow blindly. So very non-thinking, very non-thinking is ignorance. Very not thinking is ignorance. What is ignorance? Not knowing my real nature. So what is not knowing my real nature? I don't know that I am of the nature of happiness and I am running outside for the sake of happiness. Do you see that? See the point of guidance from the teachers. I am of the nature of happiness. I have a doubt. I don't have a right knowledge. Buddha says in the first Eightfold Noble Path, right view, right knowledge is essential. I do not think when I wake up in the morning and my mind is making me run. So when my mind is making me run, then I forget that the happiness is within me, and then running. So this running outside, not knowing happiness inside, is what we say ignorance is. That is what we say ignorance is. Do you see that? So when we learn and continue the teaching, continue listening and learning these principles, understanding, time comes, the mind clicks. It clicks into the mind. Yes, it is there. You wake up in the morning, mind was rushing, it clicks. The moment it clicks, all your anxiety, duality drops down. Oh, I got it. Now when you got it, what happens? Now that is the point of becoming a seeker. I just came to my mind. So basic problem is that I do not think. But what I think, I claim is right. I loved you so much and you cheated me. That is my thinking. Immediate cause. Yes, it is an immediate cause. Someone cheats you. But what is the ultimate cause? Ask yourself, what is the ultimate cause? That someone cheated you. Why you think that he or she cheated you? Why you think that? Because I was expecting happiness from him and her. See that? I am hungry. Immediate cause, I need money to feed myself. See that? But what is the ultimate cause? When you find the ultimate cause, that is what is explained in different sutras, different processes. So, we have been applying these Yoga Sutras. Couple of the sutras before focused on Om meditation. So, Om meditation says, Patanjali says, when we practice Om meditation regularly, it removes all the obstacles. At the same time, it moves the mind within so that we can succeed in meditation. But the caveat is that in Om meditation, my mind must understand the meaning. Means I must practice with the meaning. If I do not practice with the meaning, then it becomes a habitual practice and it does not bring any result. So he says two things. Om meditation, it moves the mind within and it removes all the obstacles. That helps us to succeed in meditation. So then we came to the next sutras. The mind says, now Patanjali says that we have 9 obstacles, and we discussed in detail all the 9 obstacles. Are you a thinker? Or I directly say, are you intelligent? Yes, I am intelligent. So the moment you have these obstacles, all of them starts from the mind. I don't feel like doing it. I don't think after that. I don't feel like doing it. That's why I didn't do it. Finished. No. I have to ask why I don't feel like doing it. Why I hate a teacher. Why I am attached to the teacher. I have to ask. So when you are vigilant during the day, you become aware of these obstacles that enters into the mind. And that will help you succeed. So what the master is saying? Master is saying that if you did not understand Om meditation, if you fail in that, now these are the problems, 9 obstacles. Laziness, dullness, feeling of heaviness. The moment you have these symptoms, tell your mind, I will definitely do the practice first, and mind, I will take care of you later. Do I have that level of awareness? That level of awareness comes when we become a seeker. Okay, Patanjali loves, he is full of compassion. So he says, okay, you don't feel like that. So then we covered last 4 weeks, there are 4 attitude in the mind. That attitude should be settled in the mind to live in the state of cheerfulness. No, in the modern life we can say, no, I am very busy, so I have a lot of things to do. Okay, you are busy. You interact with the people and the objects. So interact in this way. Maitri, friendliness, compassion, joy, indifference, maitri, karuna, mudita, upekshana. I find we normally say, no, what to do? I'm really crazy. I go to the office, I find crazy people. Patanjali is asking you. Find out, categorize them, and act accordingly. You need not to change anyone. Change yourself, your attitude towards them, living in the state of cheerfulness. I believe you have all gone through, you have listened to it, so you understand that. Where I have to think, act, and speak in the attitude of friendliness, in the attitude of compassion, in the attitude of joy, in the attitude of indifference, equanimity. So you see that 90% of your problems interacting with the people is solved. No, I forget it. So we understand. Patanjali says, I understand. You have yet to become a seeker. I understand. He is giving you all the tips. And he goes on. He gives us more than 10 different tips. So we started with Om meditation, and then he said regular practice. Regular practice with the wisdom will help. Then he says these 4 traits. Now we claim we are intelligent, but still we do not observe our own mind. We do not reset our attitude. We fail again and again. We blame and comment on this meditation is good, that is good, this teacher is good, that teacher. No, I'm not, still, my mind is not going inside. Yeah? So Patanjali, nor every master uses, there is a pratyak chetana. Pratyak chetana means withdrawing the mind that is scattered in different directions from outside to inside. Then only I can start thinking. Otherwise, I live like an ant. You touch the ant, oh, enemy, change the direction. Sometime again, I start running again. I don't think. No, but I am intelligent. I'm intelligent, but I don't think. So, okay, if you are intelligent, Patanjali says now the next sutra. He says, stop thinking. Now follow me. So in the sutra number 34, in the first chapter, he says, prachan, prachaddarn, vidharanabhyam va pranasya. What he says now. Now he says that I understand you are lazy, you are crazy, mind still goes outside, distractions are still there. Our goal is emptiness, because that emptiness will reveal the true nature of my real self. So now he says, no problem at all. You cannot think. Still you claim you are a thinker. No worries, we have realized you. So now I will guide you. Patanjali says, I will guide you by changing the rate and the rhythm of the breath. You can achieve the focus of the mind, and your mind can withdraw from outside to inside. Question is, am I ready? I have not been ready in 4 accounts previously. That is why I am failing. Am I ready now? No, I cannot think, what you are saying, it doesn't make any sense. We have lot of arguments. So he says, no, now I will put you into action. Are you ready? Prachardana vidaranabhyam va. He says, or there is an option. You have not done the previous steps. Let us do it now. So, Patanjali is also asking how many practices you want. I remember one great friend of mine in India, I gave him 29 practices. Every time he says, no, this practice does not suit me. I said, no, I have Pandora box of thousands of practices. So after 29 practices, he says, it doesn't fit me. I said, I know it. So why you gave me 29 practices? Because you told me. What should I do? Should I follow you or you should follow me? No, I will follow me. I said, no question asked. Now you have to follow me. You have to do the practices as I suggest you. I know your temperament, that you are not aware of it. Come back. He says, breathing, rate and rhythm of the breathing. The breathing, the prana rules the breathing. That is why the word is used, Prana. Prana rules the breathing. Prana and the breath are two different things. Yadvai praniti sah prana. That by which the living force is alive is known as prana. Another meaning of the prana is first unit of energy, first unit of life force. Now see that life force is present in the ant, in amoeba, and also in me. Only we have a choice to alter the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Why? Because I'm a self-conscious being. Are you ready? Patanjali says, we will bring a tremendous change if you are ready. The oldest book, Atharvaveda, beautifully says, now understand. We are understanding through the mind. You are not ready to work on the mind as a good thinker in the previous sutras. So he says, now can you think of this breath which is objective, which you can feel? Thoughts go unnoticed. Sometimes we are obsessed with it. No, when I'm telling you I don't feel like doing it, why you are pushing me? Because you have to think. Why you don't feel like doing it? But you see that in your daily, in your interaction with a lot of people. I don't feel like doing it. Why you are pushing me? We are a leader of the free world. So we are also a leader of the mind. Whatever the mind says, we want to. So here he says, what he says, now he says objectively. You can see the prana, you can feel the breath, so we will change. And if we change the rate and the rhythm of the breath, we can succeed. So in Atharvaveda, Prano virat prano destri pranam sarupasati pranohu surya chandrama pranamahu prajapatim. Pranohu surya chandrama. He says this prana is the protector of the universe. You are part of the universe, so that prana is protecting you. If you change the direction of the prana, you will succeed. Where there is a movement, where there is a change, there is prana. Understand that prana in that reference. Are you listening to me? It is a change. Prana is also there. I am speaking through the mind because of the prana. That prana, life energy, converted into mental energy. That is why I am speaking to you. Body changes, prana. Gravitation, prana. Think in that way. Now, I don't want to think. Science knows better. That is why science is discovering more illnesses than health, than well-being. You see, we let us start thinking in that way. We are not pushing. Have a new perspective. So where there is a change, there is a prana. So if I regulate the prana, I can make the body steady. Now see, conclusion. When I can bring about a change in the prana, I can make the mind steady. Not lot of thinking, want to act with a friendliness and compassion, or doing it habitually is not bringing any result. So we have good teachers also attending. They have studied in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Hatha Yoga Pradipika says, Chale vate chalam chittam nischale nischalam bhavet. If you change the mind, prana changes. And if you change the prana, if you change the rate and the rhythm of the breath, the mind changes. In Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Kate, Brenty, and Antoinette. And now Christina is also becoming a teacher. Do you see that? We don't pay attention to it. Chale vate chalam chittam nishchale nishchalam bhavet yogi sthanuttamapanoti tato vayum nirodhayet. By regulating the rate and the rhythm of the breath, a person becomes a yogi. Yogi. Sthanuttamapanoti. What does that mean? That person makes the mind totally steady. I told you, we all talk of the same principles, but differently. Expression is different. You see, by regulation of the breath, how many type of breathing practices we know in Hatha Yoga? Maybe 8, 9, 10 or 11. In Tantra, we have 135 different practices of breathing. Because our mind is limited to only 10 and 11 breathing practices, when I give some practices, they say, oh, is it Kapalbhati? Oh, because I want to relate it. No, it is not. So when I take it as Kapalbhati, then I am not progressing. I do not understand that. Before we go for practice, let us understand what Patanjali says, what happens. He says the result in the second chapter. Tatakshiyate prakasha varnam. You are not able to think rightly. You are not able to remove the doubt. You cannot move to the friendliness. I get upset. The previous sutras. We cannot follow the previous sutras. So Master says, Tatakshiyate prakasha varnam. You continue doing these breathing practices. What will happen? It will remove the veil of ignorance from the mind. But one thing, by example I'm telling you, don't take it literally. If you follow Om meditation, you will succeed in 3 months. Example. That 3 months is an example to make you understand. And if you follow that 4 attitude with the state of cheerfulness, it will take about a year. And if you follow the breathing practices, it will take 4 years. That is the way. You are not directly hitting the mind. You are hitting the breath. So breath in relationship to the body. The mind will sometimes say, no, I don't feel. Oh, no, it's too much. No, I feel. I feel craziness and I cannot do it. So you have to gradually increase the level of tolerance in the mind. Mind should be acclimatized to withstand the changes that is taking place, sudden changes that is taking place by the breathing practices. Someday you will say, no, I cannot do it, because it demands a lot of strength in the stamina. So someday you cannot do it, someday you are sick. But even if you are physically sick, you can follow the other practices. You see the 3 months, 1 year, 4 years. So I did not want to go for the higher steps. So continue. And 4 years, who will do it? Who remembers? In 4 years, we become soulmate, and then we go to honeymoon, then we go soulmate, and then we divorce. What to talk about breathing? Do you see that? Then we have a doubt about yoga. That is why yoga is not working in our life. Who is responsible? I am. I am responsible for. I used to go to Stephen Friend's house for private lessons, so it used to take me 45 minutes. Don't do that. So I used to breathe for 45 minutes while driving. So when I used to reach their house, brain is totally fresh, ready, not tired, not exhausted. I'm just giving you one idea of that. So as I told you, there are 135 practices explained in different Tantra texts. Tell me, no, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what is required. We are not doing a philosophical. You see, in the second benefit, in the second sutra, perhaps 53, chapter 253, Dharana sucho yogyata manasa. What Hatha Pradipika text says, Patanjali says in a different ways. You get a remarkable power of concentration by regular breathing practices. So because we don't have a right understanding and the right knowledge, what we do? We go back to science. Oxygen concentration, hyperventilation, hypoventilation. We start off because I don't have a right knowledge in yoga. They are okay. They can complement it. I've done research studies on asthma, and we have found out that you can alter the activity of peripheral and chemoreceptors in the brain by doing regular breathing practices that will help you to minimize the symptoms of asthma. But I'm a healthy being. I want to achieve the final goal of yoga. I don't need peripheral and chemoreceptors. I don't make a difference. I'm not clear. So when I'm not clear, then 4 years is not a long time. I leave within a couple of weeks and months. Do you see that? So we'll talk a little more about this prana in the next session also. Let us start practice. Are you committed? Yes, I am committed. So follow as I tell you. No stopping in between. So eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. But if you have any symptom, you can interrupt me in between. Eyes are closed. Looking at the body, and then looking at the mind. Check. Body is steady. No, body is causing lot of challenges. No worries. We are using breath as a means. So even if it is moving, just maintain. Okay. Maintain your awareness. And if it is steady, wonderful. You progress faster. So look at the neck joint. Feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Shoulder joints. Experience being comfortable, steady and steadiness. The entire body is comfortable, steady, and calm. Body should remain more or less steady. First point of awareness. We are going to do the 3 types of breathing, which I normally say: chest breathing, belly breathing, yogic breathing. But the rate and the rhythm of the breath should be quicker and the faster. For example, understand that we are going to do it for 2 minutes each today. Normally in Tantra it is recommended we should be doing 9 minutes each. Think of it. A lot of work to do. So when we do the chest breathing, means you are aware that you inhale into the rib cage, it expands, you exhale from the rib cage, it contracts. Means the mind is engaged while inhaling into the rib cage and exhaling from the rib cage. Expansion and contraction should be there. So the chest breathing is normally the short and the quick breath through both the nostrils, focused inside the rib cage. Then we will stay for a minute to experience the change, and then we will go to the belly breathing. Belly breathing means you inhale, the belly expands like a balloon, and you exhale, the belly contracts like a balloon. When you deflate it. And there the focus remains inside the belly button. Then comes the yogic breathing, where the focus is deep inside the forehead, and it is a long and the hissing breath. Means you inhale first into the belly, continue to inhale into the ribs, both expands, and while exhaling, you exhale from the belly and from the ribs. We all are seekers, so 2 minutes is not a big deal. After all, we have to reach to 9 minutes. So, let us start first with the chest breathing. Body remains steady, only the movement in the chest and the belly. Start breathing only from the rib cage, chest breathing for 2 minutes. Continue, you are committed to the practice. We are doing only for 2 minutes. It's not a big deal. Quick, short breath through both the nostrils into the rib cage. And stop this. We have done 2 minutes of chest breathing. I'm not giving any name to these breathing from the Hatha Yoga practices. Remember this. So don't compare that. Don't take it that. Do nothing. Find the changes in experience inside the head, outside the head. It may happen in the form of sensation, tingling, numbness, total blankness, as if, oh, I don't feel like I am in the body. Don't start thinking that, it is out of body experience. Sometimes we use such a misconception. So now comes the second breathing with the same rate in the rhythm, but this breath is little longer because the lower lobes of the lungs are longer and have a greater capacity than the upper lobes of the lungs. So simple. But what is the main point to be noted? When you inhale, the belly expands like a balloon. When you exhale, it deflates like a balloon. So let us start. You can make out by the noise of the breath from where you are breathing. Continue. Continue. We have to do it for 2 minutes. Continue. Continue. Only into the belly, not into the ribs. Only into the belly, not into the ribs. Continue. Equal rhythm of inhalation and exhalation. It will happen after few rounds of practice. It doesn't happen on the first day, but we have to do it. And stop it. Think, compare. We are only doing for 2 minutes. And check. The mind is not ready to follow, to be a thinker, to move like a friendliness, compassion, joy, indifference. No, it doesn't fit me. Now we are giving you the breathing practices. The mind will still say it doesn't fit me. It causes lot of challenges to me. Means I am not ready to do anything, but still I want happiness. Then there is no remedy for those people. I'm just explaining the process. Now coming to the third breathing. What do? Your inhalation and exhalation more or less should be equal. You inhale first into the belly, continue without break into the rib cage, both expands, and then you exhale from the belly, from the ribs. They both deflate and squeeze inside. But remember, it has to be long, deep, and the fast with a hissing sound. Focused inside. Focus deep remains inside the forehead. Start with it. Pay attention. It will happen in 2 or 3 repetitions. You can make out, I am doing it. You can make out by a sound the way I am doing it. Continue. You do not stop in the middle. Continue. It is not the short breath. Remember, if the short breath it is chest breathing. It is the middle breath, it is belly breathing. We are doing from the both. And the mind miss it, mind forgets it, and the practice is gone. Continue. And stop it. We have done 2 minutes of it. I have directly exposed you to these 3 types of breathing without explaining in detail. But as we go along, we will understand deeply. Now look at the tip of the nose and check if you are breathing from both the nostrils equally. Look at your level of awareness. You are not breathing now. You have stopped it. You are only checking the breath. But sometimes I see people continue to do it. That is a great problem of the mind. I'm not going to tell you who is doing that. He is still breathing long, deep in the hissing breath. You should stop it now. You should stop it now. Well, let him continue. Let him or her continue. It happens, then we recognize there is a deep emotional problem. Anyhow, you are looking at the breath. Stop breathing now. Person is not stopping now. It's okay. Let us look at the breath. The flow of the air from both the nostrils should be equal. Just check it. If it is not equal, keep looking at the tip of the nose. Where the mind goes, there the breath goes. Principle coming from Hatha Yoga. Stop breathing now. You are looking at the breath only. You know the element of ego? The element of lower mind, lower consciousness. You see, you don't listen. That is why we say there are dangers. And all these practices must be done under the supervision. Now start. Just move the mind on the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Head and the neck. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Stop breathing now. You are looking at the breath. We are into the next step. Look at the head and the neck. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look inside. Experience calmness and quietness. I believe you are listening to me. Stop breathing. We are already into the next step. There is no danger, but the teacher has to be vigilant only. Look at the right arm. Move the mind on the right arm. We want to experience the change, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look inside the right arm. Become aware of the right arm. Inside the space and the sensation. I will take that step deeply into the next session. Experience calmness and quietness. That gives us a clue that the mind is living within. Please stop breathing. I have been telling repeatedly, but we are not listening. Look at the left arm. Look at the left arm. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look inside. When we look inside the left arm, we are aware of calmness and quietness. We may have an experience of tingling, numbness, body starts freezing sometime. Sometime we experience an extreme lightness in the body or heaviness. We get a feeling of sinking. The body is sinking into the floor. It's okay. You just watch. Experience the changes, but continue to follow me. And then we look at the rib cage outside. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And inside. Inside is the space and the sensation. And calmness and quietness. Look at the belly outside. Awareness of what? Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Inside, calmness and quietness. Look at the right leg. Chale vate chalam chittam nishchale nishchalam bhavit. I'm applying that principle. Moving the mind on the right leg. Be there, feel sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Looking inside. Looking inside the right leg, the calmness and quietness is there. Look at the left leg mentally and sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Inside, calmness and quietness. Now, looking at the breath, making the breath little deeper. As you inhale, deep, silent, and slow, move the mind inside the spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone, mentally singing Om Shanti. While exhaling, the mind rises from the tailbone to the top of the head, crown of the head, singing mentally Om Shanti. So now the body continues to change its experiences. It remains more or less still. The breath is deep, silent, and slow. The mind moves with the breath, saying Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Please continue. Shanti. Om Shanti. While inhaling and exhaling. So you see that body supporting the deep silent slow breathing, breath supporting the movement of the mind, mind supporting the recitation of the mantra. Well, step by step, understanding that point. So that process takes a long time. Because if the body is not in a proper position, the deep silent slow breathing cannot happen. If it doesn't happen, the mind cannot move rightly with the breath. The mantra cannot. That is how we understand from outside to inside. But that possibility is done with in the higher practices that we have understood before. That is why I say 3 months, 1 year, 4 years. Now leave the breath but continue with Om Shanti. Now we reach to the same place of clarity of understanding. Om Shanti. The mind drops from the crown of the head to the tailbone, reciting mentally Om Shanti. Mind rises from the tailbone to the top of the head. Om Shanti. So it is a bypassing the body and the breath. The mind has to work on the mind itself. In Hatha Yoga text, we talk of Aman. We talk of Sambhavi Mudra. Unmani Mudra. Unmani means, normally means no mind Mudra. Because when we have yet to become a seeker, so Hatha Yoga masters say, okay, this is also mudra. There are many mudras. Now this is also one mudra. See. And doing nothing, remain as you are in the state of doing nothing. Now you are in a state of doing nothing. Living into that state, allow the revelation to take place. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside, know your experiences, bring the hands down, and we will share our experiences now. How are you, Stephen?
Wow. I'm good. I had this sense of pure relaxation when you started with something with the shoulders in the beginning, and I just felt my whole body let loose into complete relaxation. The first breathing was centered as a numbness activity right here in the forehead. The second breathing, I felt vibration all around here.
Beautiful.
The third breathing was back here, towards the crown, and then everything else was, the only other thing through it is the listening with the Om Shanti. When we dropped the breath, took the attention away from the breath, I felt like I was traveling from my crown to my tailbone within myself.
Beautiful.
Which was incredible. And after that, it was just blankness.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. Yes, yes. Beautiful. How are you, Brandy?
Hi, Girish. I'm pretty good. I can see how the breath work takes your mind someplace different than like the Om meditation, you know? But I could see how it's not as deep. I mean, maybe that's not the right word to say, but I can see how it's maybe takes a little bit longer. I mean, the focus is there immediately, but it's not, I don't know, it didn't.
Yeah, you're right.
But it was still really useful because I have, I have a kind of a vata mind sometimes, and, so that breath helps.
Yes, I think that's a good observation. Now see that. Apply what you have observed. One day the mind is crazy, it doesn't want to listen. Do this practice. The other day the mind follows easily. It is calm and relaxed. Then it can go easily inside. Follow the other practice. That is the key. That is how we understand. Huh? No, I have low protein, so eat more protein. Low carb, eat now. So apply the same. That is important. How are you, Antoinette?
I'm good. That was very, it went by very quickly.
Good.
And I went from feeling very heavy to light and energized.
Energized.
I have a new sense of energy now, which is good.
Which is good. Yeah. You see, the previous steps, what Patanjali explains, are purely psychological and mental. That can give you the energy 24/7. And these practices, you are energized for maybe 1, 2, 3 hours. The mind will go back to the same old habit and routine. It will dissipate the energy. That understanding should be coming from yoga. But it's a good observation. How are you, Kate? We are going to meet just after the session, isn't it? Yeah.
I actually found that this practice brought me into a deeper place of stillness.
Yeah, good.
So, like the breath prepared and kind of more inside, deeper.
Yeah. Think of it, Kate. Tantra says minimum, I would say, I calculated roughly, it is 9 minutes each breath. So we have just done 2 minutes. Let us see how we can go. And sometime what happens, you are doing, say, for the chest breathing. Now the mind has some element of impurity. So the mind doesn't want you to stop even for 2 minutes. It continues. So that is why we say in these practices the teacher has to be there to guide you, to push you, to change it. So a lot of other stuff that we will discuss. And how are you, Christina?
I'm doing very well. I understand kind of where Brandy was coming from. There's definitely a difference, but it's almost like we were working backwards. The Om is so powerful, and then going to this is something that I want to practice throughout my days, because this will help. And if I had in the past when I was dealing with high anxiety, it was beautiful and very light once you told us to stop breathing too.
Yeah.
That I felt like I was a little kid just floating through the air. It was wonderful.
Beautiful.
So, thank you.
I love you. Now you have started smiling, bubbling with energy. A couple of weeks before, things were different. So never go back. And we are going to do lot of at least 4 or 5 different sessions on breathing to see that how it works on you. So how are you, Terry?